Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we're going to be taking a look at a sword that is known as Hexfire. It is Hexfire Shamshir. The Hexfire Shamshir has some interesting effects on it. It has 61 to 102 damage, and 58 dexterity and 58 strength requirement, which is not too bad, to be honest. So this particular weapon honestly is kind of good for two specific characters, and it's really only good for those two specific characters, and we'll go over that in a bit. It has +3 to fire skills, which of course will beef up any fire skill in the game, including Corpse Explosion, believe it or not. You know, Corpse Explosion, Fire Golem, Enchant, Meteor, Holy Fire, all of which count as fire skills. Even Vengeance counts as a fire skill because it does have a fire component. We also have 160% enhanced damage, which does vary by 20%, so it goes from 140 to 160, which isn't too bad. We also have 35 to 40 damage added to the weapon, which is kind of like raw numbers, and it's a little different than enhanced damage, so it's nice to have both of those effects on there at the same time. We also have ITD on this thing, ignores target's defense, which is very, very nice. What ignores target's defense does is it takes attack rating out of the equation. There is still a chance that you will miss, but it has to come down to your level, like level difference between you and the monster, and some other various factors. And of course, there's always a 5% chance you're going to miss anyway. So it just removes attack rating from the equation. The other important thing to note about ignores target's defense is that it does not work on bosses, so keep that in mind. We have a +10% to maximum fire resistance, which is absolutely amazing. When you put this on, you're going to go from a cap of 75% to a cap of 85%. It's not going to raise your resistances by 10%, but it will increase the cap, the possibility of going higher, which is very, very effective to help prevent your death, from specific fire attacks. We also have a bonus of 25% fire resistance on here as well, which is going to help you reach that cap, which is very, very nice. We also have level 6 Hydra charges, which are not really that great, although you could potentially synergize them as a sorceress. Level 6 Hydras just don't really do a lot of damage. We're going to look those up just to be 100% sure, though. So let's go real quick here, and let's take a look at Hydras. And we're going to take a look at the level 2 Hydra, or sorry, level 6 Hydra. And we're going to look and see how much damage they do. So level 6 Hydras are 43 to 55 damage per bolt, and I believe there's 3 heads, and each head fires 1 bolt. So it's essentially 50 damage times 3, so about 150 damage per attack rotation, I think, which isn't terrible. Unfortunately, if you do have the ethereal version, you're not going to be able to repair the charges. There's no way to repair the charges on ethereal items. You can, however, repair the charges on the non-ethereal version, and let's go play around with that real quick, shall we? So let's take our Shamshir out here, and we're going to burn a couple of these charges, and we're going to see how much they cost. So let's just go ahead and burn 5 charges. And so we burned 5 charges. Let's see how much 5 charges costs us to repair.
Oh, hi there.
So 30,666. So not really too bad on the cost there for the charges. Not bad at all. So this particular sword is really meant for 2 characters, and I'll explain. Okay, you can get in. Go on. Mr. NiNi loves to sleep in my shirt. That's his whole life, is sleeping in my shirt. I see you. No. That's right. Stay in there. So 2 specific characters are very good for this particular item. Number 1 is a enchant sorceress. You could actually utilize this very well on an enchant sorceress, mainly because the bulk of your damage is not coming from your actual physical damage. It's coming from the attack of the of the enchant, right? So we have this huge fire damage added to our attack, and this is giving us basically a free attack. We have ITD, so it doesn't matter what monsters we come across, we should have absolutely no problem hitting them. So we could even take this over to Eldritch the Rectifier in Act 5, and we could probably kill Eldritch relatively easy. Unfortunately, like I said, it does not work on bosses, but we can use it on all of his minions with relative ease. So I could run over here and I could just start to messing around with all of his minions and dishing out some damage. Now I'll have to count on my my mercenary probably to finish off the boss monster. Of course, he had to have Holy Freeze out of all the effects, right? Come on, Eldritch, let's go. You and me, mono e mono. That's right, everybody died. I'm pretty sure my Barbarian Merc carried me there. Another character that you can use it on besides Enchant Sorceresses is actually a Holy Fire Paladin. It makes a lot of sense on a Holy Fire Paladin because in general, Holy Fire Paladins are extremely fire-based, obviously. They want, obviously, to have ignores target's defense. It's very helpful to them. And a very fast weapon, like a Shamshir, is definitely going to be useful to apply that damage as quickly as possible. The physical damage on this is not bad, and honestly, the level 33 requirement is actually pretty good. So if you were a level 33 Holy Fire Paladin, or a level 33 Enchant Sorceress, this could be a very effective item specifically for your characters. Now, I don't know a lot of other characters who could get good use out of this except for the +3 fire skills. I mean, if you wanted to use it just for the +3 fire skills, it could certainly come in handy for that because at level 33, there's not a lot of +3 skill items. So you can definitely keep that in mind. And the ethereal version has much higher damage at 74 to 133, and we could actually upgrade these to the 3rd tier if we wanted to, and see what kind of damage they do at tier 3. Why not? Let's give this a try. So we're going to need a Pull Rune, and we're going to need a Lum Rune. We're also going to need a Perfect Emerald. And we're going to need another one for the ethereal version. I'm not sure if I have another Lum Rune, but I can always go grab one. It's not a big deal. I've got plenty in storage. I shall return. All right, so we're going to need a Pull Rune, Perfect Emerald, and a Lum Rune. It's going to go from 61 damage to 102, 58 dex, 58 strength, level 33, to the Elegant Blade. And the Elegant Blade has 120 damage to 157, 122 dex, and 109 strength with level 54 requirement. And actually not that bad of an upgrade. I would probably put a Shale Rune in this if I was going to use it for a Holy Fire Paladin or an Enchant Sorceress. You know, just specifically because I would really want speed over everything else. It does decent damage. I'm not really worried about the damage. What I'm worried about is the speed of it. I want it to go faster. And if I'm using this on a sorceress, I definitely need speed. And if I'm using it on a paladin, I may have other equipment that gives me increased attack speed, like Treachery or High Lord's Wrath or whatever. But speeding it up is definitely going to help me overall. Let's take a look at the ethereal version. Let's upgrade this one as well. So it's 74 to 133 damage, 48 dexterity, 48 strength, level 33. And this upgrades to 162 damage to 214, 112 dexterity, 99 strength, level 54. So not a bad upgrade there for the ethereal version, although I'm not really sure it's worth a Zod rune. But if you were going to utilize this on a character at a high level, on the ethereal version, you would have to Zod it. So keep that in mind. And of course, you can also not use the Hydra charges. So also keep that in mind. But all in all, the Hexfire blade serves its purpose well. It is +3 to fire skills. It is ITD. It is plus maximum fire resistance. It is plus fire resistance. It is designed to give you fire skills and fire resistance, and it also does a very good job of giving you the ITD as well, because they are obviously pointing this toward a character who would have trouble hitting targets, like Enchant Sorceress. So having the ITD on there is very nice. And of course, if you're a paladin who's just having trouble with attack rating, it's definitely very nice to be able to put on something like this that's going to make sure that you hit your targets. And honestly, the upgrade on this was not bad at all. The dexterity requirement of 122 isn't too bad. If you're a paladin, you're probably going to be running that anyway, specifically so you can have your block chance high enough. If you're an enchant sorceress, you're probably going to be using a demon machine, which at least has a 95 strength requirement on it in the Chu Konu form. And when you upgrade it to its upgraded form, it's going to have an even higher dexterity and strength requirement. So you'd probably be able to use it anyway. And you know, the relatively fast speed of it, the relatively nice ITD combined with the fire resistances and things like that, the fire skills, all of which adds up really to a holy fire or a enchant sorceress. There's really not a lot else you can do with this particular blade. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, if I wanted to find one, where would I find one? So let's take a look and see on Silo's pen where this particular item might drop from, right? All right, so let's take a look here at the... we're not going to do normal difficulty. Let's do all. Let's do bosses. Let's do probably about 150% magic find, because this is a slightly higher level item. And then let's look for the Hexfire. There it is. Find. So according to probability, our highest probability not quest kill is Nightmare Andariel at 1 in 465 chance. Not bad. Nightmare Andariel would definitely be a good place to farm for an item like this, which is relatively low level. Level 33 is just about the level you would get to Andariel anyway. So if you farm Andariel in Nightmare difficulty, that would probably be your best bet. Normal difficulty Bale also has a pretty good chance there, as you can see, and Nightmare difficulty Mephisto. But by then, you might have found something else. Who knows? Let's take a look at super uniques, and let's see what kind of super uniques we can farm as well. So highest probability here is the Nightmare Cow King. Not exactly the best choice for farming, because of course you have to get to the end of Nightmare before you can come back and farm Cow King. Let's see here. The Countess in Nightmare difficulty, that's not a bad choice. You may want to farm the Countess anyway, specifically so you can get runes for your equipment. And Treehead Woodfist, Bone Ash. Both of those are in normal difficulty, relatively easy to get to. Both of them are near the waypoint, so you could totally farm those with relative ease. And let's see if there's anything else good on here. Pindleskin in normal difficulty has a decent chance. That could be a very interesting farming choice there. Not bad. I mean, honestly, the choices that we've got so far, Nightmare Andariel, normal Pindleskin, things like that, those are actually pretty good. Nightmare Bone Ash and Nightmare Treehead Woodfist, those are actually really good options. And it looks like Magma Chinchilla has come out because he's too hot. Magma Chilla. Nope, never mind. Magma Chilla cooled off a little bit and went back into his hovel. There's really not a lot more to say about Hexfire. It definitely is an interesting weapon, but it is a niche weapon, which means it has a very specific, purpose. It's meant for very specific characters, and I do feel like the maximum fire resistance can certainly be useful in certain situations. If you were just in a situation where you really needed to survive fire damage, it could definitely be useful for a little while for that. You could maybe pair it up with something like Inferno Strides or Duriel Shell or the Rising Sun or Dwarf Star, and you could relatively make yourself immune to fire damage very, very easily. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, even when we are talking about the Hexfire Shamshir. Shamshir. Say that 10 times fast. Shamshir, 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 Shamshir. What would you use the Shamshir for? Tell me down in the comments. And don't say Charcy. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching, and keep watching.